What happens when a joyful family outing takes a sudden tragic turn? This video explores 5 unsettling stories of children and teenagers whose outdoor adventures ended in heartbreak. How can something meant to be fun become a nightmare? Join us as we delve into these cautionary tales of wrong family trips. In 2011, in the remote village of Termalny, near Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky in the Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia, 19-year-old Olga Moskalyova was camping with her stepfather, Igor Tsiganenkov. They were fishing by a river and enjoying a peaceful day when their day turned into a nightmare as a mother brown bear attacked them. Igor was the first to be attacked. The bear overpowered him, breaking his neck and smashing his skull. Olga saw the attack and ran 70 yards away, hoping to escape, but the bear, followed by her 3 cubs, caught up with Olga and grabbed her leg. Despite the intense pain and fear, Olga managed to call her mother Tatiana. Over the next hour, Olga gave her mother a heartbreaking live account of her death. On Olga's first call, she screamed in agony, desperately pleading for help. Initially, Tatiana thought her daughter was joking, but when she heard the terrifying sounds of the bear growling and chewing, she realized the situation was actual. Tatiana, not knowing that Igor was already dead, tried to call him but got no answer. She then called the local authorities and Igor's brother Andrei, pleading for them to rush to the scene. Olga called her mother several times during the attack. In her second call, she weakly reported that the bears had returned with 3 cubs and were attacking her. Tatiana was horrified and felt helpless as she listened to her daughter's suffering. In the final call, almost an hour after the first, Olga's voice was calm as she told her mother that the pain had subsided. Before the call ended, she asked for forgiveness and expressed her love. These were the last words Tatiana heard from her daughter. Half an hour later, Andrei and the police arrived at the scene. They found the mother bear still eating Igor's body. Olga's badly mauled body was also found nearby. 6 hunters were sent to kill the mother bear and her cubs to prevent further attacks. Tatiana was left to mourn her daughter, who had her whole life ahead of her. Olga was described as cheerful, friendly, and warm. She had recently graduated from music school and had just received her driving license. Bear attacks like this were becoming more common in Russia as the bears searched for food in areas where humans lived. Olga's last moments, shared through her phone calls to her mother, show the brutal reality of nature's dangers and the helplessness felt by those who can only listen. They also tell us of the unpredictable and often deadly encounters that can happen when humans and wild animals cross paths. On June 1, 2024, it was a sunny day in Limerick, Maine. The Morgan family, hailing from Stockholm, New Jersey, was on a much-needed vacation. Jesse Morgan, a pastor, his wife Bethany, and their 4 children were spending quality time together at a lakeside cottage. The vacation was meant to be a time of rest and bonding, away from their busy lives back home. Lucy Morgan, their 6-year-old daughter, was full of life. She loved Chick-fil-A, drawing, dancing, soccer, and spending time with her family. Lucy was also curious about her faith and had recently asked her mother, Bethany, how to be with God and be saved. Bethany had explained it to her, and Lucy, in her characteristic independence, wanted to pray on her own. She later journaled about her newfound faith, expressing her love for God in words and pictures. On that day, the Morgan family was enjoying a peaceful afternoon. They were eating a quick lunch by the lake when the children decided to play badminton in the front yard. The youngest, Lucy, was sitting on the sidelines, excitedly watching her siblings. Jesse and Bethany were relaxing in the back when they heard a sudden scream. Rushing to the front, they discovered a horrifying scene. In a freak accident, the aluminum shaft of a badminton racket had broken off its wooden handle and pierced Lucy's skull. The sharp piece had caused a catastrophic brain injury. Lucy was still breathing but unresponsive. Jesse and Bethany held their daughter, crying to God for a miracle. Limerick Fire and Emergency Medical Services arrived quickly, and Lucy was transported to a local hospital before being airlifted to Maine Medical Center in Portland. Doctors at the medical center removed part of Lucy's skull to relieve the pressure on her brain. Despite their efforts, her condition wasn't stable. Lucy's brain functioning had essentially ceased, and it was unlikely she would ever recover. The Morgans were told to prepare for the worst. They spent the next few days in a state of incomprehensible pain, hoping for a miracle but bracing for the inevitable. Jesse documented their harrowing journey on his blog, sharing the family's struggles and their faith. On June 4th, the morning of the day Lucy was predicted to pass, Bethany's cries of pain were heard through the hospital, reminding her of the day she gave birth to Lucy nearly 7 years ago. The pain of a mother losing her child was indescribable. The Morgans faced the heartbreaking task of explaining the situation to Lucy's 3 siblings. 8-year-old Shiloh broke down immediately, unable to imagine life without her sister. 4-year-old AJ clung to his parents, asking endless questions in his typical style. 10-year-old Silas tried to be strong, but eventually broke down, declaring that he didn't want to be a family of 5. As the days passed, the Morgans found comfort in their faith and the support of their extended family and church community. They sang Lucy's favorite hymn, "He Will Hold Me Fast," at her bedside. On June 5th at 1:32 a.m., Lucy was declared brain dead. A few hours later, her heart stopped beating. Returning home to New Jersey was another ordeal. The family arrived to find their steps lined with flowers and a fridge stocked with food, but entering their home was one of the hardest things they had ever done. They sat on the front steps crying together, before mustering the courage to go inside. Once inside, they collapsed on the kitchen floor, overwhelmed by grief. Amid their sorrow, they discovered an unexpected gift. Lucy's prayer journal, given to her a month before her passing, contained her heartfelt prayers and drawings. The final entry was a picture that Shiloh believed depicted Mary and Martha weeping over the body of Lazarus, a reflection of Lucy's understanding of faith and resurrection. This discovery comforted the grieving family, affirming Lucy's deep, though childlike faith. The family's ordeal did not end with Lucy's passing. Jesse continued sharing their journey on his blog, reflecting on their pain and efforts to find light amidst the darkness. The community rallied around them, raising over $135,000 through a GoFundMe campaign to support the family. As they went through their grief, the Morgans clung to their faith. Jesse's blog posts were raw and honest, detailing the family's attempts to cope with their loss. He wrote about the gold at the bottom of a deep, dark well, finding evidence of God's grace in the small mercies they experienced. Despite their sorrow, the Morgans found moments of joy, remembering Lucy's laughter and love. Lucy's funeral was held on June 15th at Green Pond Bible Chapel in Rockaway Township. It was live-streamed for those who couldn't attend. The service celebrated Lucy's life and faith, showing her impact on those around her despite her short time on earth. On July 4th, 2012, 15-year-old Tyler Madoff, a high school junior from Scarsdale, New York, went on a kayaking and hiking trip with Bold Earth Adventures in Kealakekua Bay, Hawaii. The adventure was intended to be a thrilling, safe experience for Tyler and 11 other teens. Unfortunately, the trip turned tragic when Tyler was swept out to sea and presumed dead. Tyler was known for his athleticism and academic excellence. He played football, captained his school's crew team, and was a junior lifeguard. This trip was supposed to be a highlight of his summer, a $500 adventure his parents believed would provide leadership skills and unforgettable memories. Instead, it ended in a heartbreaking loss. The group, led by guides from Bold Earth Adventures and Hawaii Pack and Paddle, had been kayaking in Kealakekua Bay, a state historic park known for its snorkeling and dolphins. Outside the permitted zone, the teens were directed to relax in tide pools near the Captain Cook Monument. The guides assured the group that the tide pools were safe. However, they overlooked warnings of dangerous surf conditions. As the group rested, powerful waves unexpectedly surged into the tide pools. Tyler and another teen were swept away. The jagged lava rocks and violent waves created a dangerous situation. The guides managed to rescue the other boy, but Tyler was not so fortunate. Witnesses reported that Tyler was thrown against the rocks and then pulled into the ocean. A massive search effort involved the U.S. Coast Guard, Hawaii County Fire Department, and residents. They used scuba divers, helicopters, and boats, but the search was called off after several days. Tyler's body was never recovered. The incident sparked outrage and grief. Tyler's parents, Michael and Marianne Madoff, were devastated. They accused Bold Earth Adventures and Hawaii Pack and Paddle of negligence. According to the lawsuit filed by the Madoffs, the guide showed poor judgment by taking the teens to an unauthorized and dangerous area. The lawsuit also emphasized that the trip leader, Andrew Mork, had a history of marijuana-related convictions and had been previously kicked out of a bar in Hawaii. Deborah Ward, a spokesperson for the Hawaii Department of Land and Natural Resources, confirmed that the area where the group was taken was outside the authorized landing or trail area allowed by the permit. This violation, combined with the failure to heed surf warnings, formed the basis of the Madoff family's wrongful death lawsuit. The Madoff family's attorney, Susan Carton, emphasized that the decision to file the lawsuit was not about money, but about accountability. They wanted to ensure that no other family would endure such a tragedy. The lawsuit sought punishable damages for negligence and infliction of emotional distress. In court, Loretta Sheehan, another attorney for the Madoff family, argued that Bold Earth Teen Adventures failed to train its leaders properly. She pointed out that Mork's background check should have revealed his marijuana convictions, making him unfit to lead a group of teenagers. The court ruled that the case should proceed in Hawaii, where the incident occurred, rather than Colorado, where Bold Earth is based. The tragic death of Tyler Madoff raised questions about the safety and oversight of adventure tours in Hawaii. Jim Howe, an ocean safety expert, noted that tour companies hire guides new to Hawaii and need to gain knowledge of local conditions. He called out the need for thorough safety training and adherence to guidelines. Despite the lawsuit and subsequent legal battles, the Madoffs focused on the hope that their son's death would lead to stricter safety protocols and prevent future tragedies. In 2014, the lawsuit was settled for an undisclosed amount. Marianne Madoff expressed that the loss of their son forever broke their family. The state revoked Hawaii Pack and Paddle's permit, citing multiple violations, including exceeding the maximum time per landing, deviating from the authorized area, and exceeding the number of guests allowed. However, this action came too late to save Tyler. On July 31, 2023, a tragic accident occurred at Okanagan Lake Provincial Park near Summerland, British Columbia. The Backer family, consisting of Keith and Sky Backer and their 4 boys, enjoyed a camping trip. Among them was 3-year-old Cash Backer, known for his curious and gentle nature. Cash loved helping others and made a new friend on this trip, the daughter of Ruveen Stogren. The Backers were an outdoorsy family, and even though Ruveen was new to camping, she felt at ease with them. The kids played together, enjoying the fresh air and the beautiful scenery. Cash was particularly excited. He even helped Ruveen's daughter put on her shoes before they went to play, showing his kind nature. The day was supposed to be filled with fun. The campground was busy with families enjoying the lake and nature. However, this peaceful scene turned into a nightmare. Around mid-morning, a tragic accident occurred near the campsite. A rotten tree at the family's campsite unexpectedly uprooted and fell, striking Cash Backer. Ruveen Stogren, who was at the camp playground with her daughter, heard the screams. Her husband, the second person on the scene, called out for her, knowing she was a nurse. Cash's mother, Sky, was the first to reach him. The trauma of the incident was so intense that the details were a blur to those who witnessed it. Ruveen rushed to the scene and immediately took over CPR from those who had started it. Despite their best efforts, it was clear the situation was dire. An ambulance was called, and Cash was quickly taken to Kelowna General Hospital. The paramedics did everything they could, but the injuries were too severe. Cash died shortly after arriving at the hospital. The news was devastating. The vibrant little boy, full of life and curiosity, was gone. The incident was described as a freak accident. The log that shifted and fell was part of a tree already on the ground, possibly weakened by rot. It was an unexpected and tragic event that shocked the Backer family and their friends. Ruveen, who met Cash for the first time on this trip, was deeply affected. She described him as one of the sweetest little boys she had ever met. He was curious, kind, and always eager to help. His loss was unimaginable. In the days following the accident, the community supported the Backer family. A fundraiser was set up to help cover funeral expenses and support the family during this difficult time. So far, it has raised over $35,000, showing the community's support and compassion. The goal is to reach $50,000, allowing Keith, the sole income earner, to take time off work and be with his family as they grieve. British Columbia Parks officials have started an investigation into the incident. Typically, dangerous tree assessments are done every spring before the parks open. Certified assessors look for trees that pose a risk and assess their potential for failure. It is still determined if the log that struck Cash was part of these assessments. The investigation aims to provide answers and ensure the safety of park visitors in the future. The Backers are now left to deal with their immense grief. Their lives have been changed forever, Ruvine, who has worked in emergency rooms and dealt with trauma before, described the incident as the worst she had ever seen. The efforts of everyone at the campsite to help, both physically and emotionally, were profound. Yet the pain remains unbearable. The Port Coquitlam community, where the Backers live, has also shared their condolences. Mayor Brad West expressed his heartbreak over the news and urged people to donate to the fundraiser. He emphasized the unimaginable pain of losing a child and the importance of community support during such times. The story of Cash Backer is a tragic example of how quickly life can change. He was a sweet boy, full of curiosity and kindness. His family and friends cherish the memories of his short but impactful life. As they grieve, they are surrounded by a community that shares in their sorrow and is determined to support them in any way possible. On July 22, 2024, Clodagh Phelan, an 11-year-old girl from County Wicklow, Ireland, was on vacation with her family at the Club Mac Hotel in Puerto de Alcudia, Mallorca, Spain. The hotel is located on the northeast coast of the island. Clodagh stayed with her parents, Liam and Valerie, and her two brothers, Will and David. The family had been enjoying their time at the resort, which was meant to be a relaxing break before returning home. That morning, around 6:30 a.m., Clodagh's parents and brothers were still asleep in their hotel room on the 7th floor. Clodagh woke up early and went out onto the balcony of their room. According to reports, she might have leaned over the railing. Tragically, Clodagh fell from the 7th floor of the hotel. She fell 65 feet and landed on the roof of a restaurant below. Emergency responders were called immediately after the fall. Despite their efforts, they could not save Clodagh. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The Spanish Civil Guard is treating Clodagh's death as an accident. They are investigating the fall's circumstances but have confirmed that it appears to have been a tragic mishap. Clodagh was a bright and talented young girl. She was known for her involvement in sports, including athletics, camogie, football, rugby, and hockey. Her love for other activities matched her enthusiasm for sports. She had a passion for music and drama and enjoyed singing and performing. Clodagh was also generous and thoughtful, often buying gifts for her family and friends. Her death has led to an outpouring of grief and tributes from her community. At her funeral at the Holy Trinity Church in Castle Macadam, Avoca, her teammates from various sports clubs and schoolmates formed a guard of honor. Her small white coffin was carried into the church, and mourners paid their respects to the young girl who had touched many lives. Clodagh's mother, Valerie, shared that their hearts were broken into 1,000 pieces. She recalled Clodagh's personality, love for sports, and kind nature. Valerie described how Clodagh would spend hours shopping for gifts and how she was always enthusiastic about school and sports. Her father, Liam, and her two brothers, Will and David, also mourned the loss of a beloved family member. Clodagh's school, St. Saviour's National School, where she was a popular and well-liked student, described her as a wonderful, happy student who worked hard. The school remembered her as a great friend to all her classmates and a talented athlete. Her sports clubs, including Parnell Athletic Club, Rathdrum Rugby Club, Clara Ladies Gaelic Football Association, and Wicklow Hockey Club, also paid tribute to her skills and commitment. The local community has come together to support the Phelan family during this difficult time. Many have expressed their condolences and shared their memories of Clodagh. Her tragic death has left a void in the hearts of those who knew her. This event raises some questions about safety in hotel environments, especially concerning balcony safety for young children. What measures could have prevented this accident? How can families ensure that such tragedies do not happen again? The investigation continues, aiming to provide answers and avoid similar incidents in the future.